right, we are live. Hello and happy Wednesday to anyone joining us live. And we are so excited to be here today, even closer to the new moon than we were going to be last Friday. So thanks y'all for being flexible with us in the reschedule. Hopefully it wasn't too much of a big deal.
We're actually like hours away from the new moon. I was preparing my chart here and I was like, oh wow. Yeah, because usually we're a little bit ahead of things, but thanks to Mercury retrograde, we're still on time though.
Right, absolutely. For those of you who aren't familiar with us, my name is Jake, and I'm joined here by Corbin. Corbin, anything you want to say before we jump into things?
Oh, just the usual. Hey, my name's Corbin Collins. I'm the astrologer for this evening. I've been studying astrology, I don't know, for about a decade or so, studying and practicing. I love Hellenistic astrology and kind of more the ancient tradition. But I think like a lot of folks who study Hellenistic blend it with some of the more modern interpretations. I got my fire colors on to talk about the Leo new moon today. So yeah, excited to go through that with y'all.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And before we jump into it, of course, head on over to my website if you want to know more about my practice. I have all my offerings on there. You can check out more about my services. You can also go on here to the bookings page, and you will find all of those laid out nice and beautifully for you to book. You can click on the details in there if you want more info on the individual services and what that looks like. I did a little bit of a redesign recently, so hopefully things are really clear and it makes sense how I can help y'all with my services. So, and then I did want to also show you guys the thumbnail for next Friday. I'm going live. This Friday.
Wait,
this Friday. This Friday, I'm going live with my friend and fellow hypnotist Cynthia, and we're going to be talking about relationships and how working through the quantum, whether that be with the past or the future, how that can help you to find new relationships, find the love you're looking for, find that dream relationship, or to work on your existing ones, whether that be with romantic partners or your family or friends. There's lots of ways that relationships can be delved into and worked through. And so it's going to be a fun show coming up this Friday. We'll be live at 5 and definitely hope to see you all there. All right. Let me pop that down. And we've got Ken in the chat. Hello, Ken. Thank you so much for joining us. And we are doing well. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Ken, well. How's it going?
All right. Let me pull out my notes here. Okie doke. So I think that's about it. Make sure that you hit that like button as you're coming in. Subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. And share this out if you have someone in your life who could use some advice or a calming moment during this moon's energy. So first up,
or just other people who are experiencing the Mercury retrograde who, just misery loves company.
Right. And I need to pull up my slides because I did not. There we go. Leo new moon slides. All right.
So we'll be starting with our crystal spotlight here. We always like to intuitively select a crystal, gemstone, mineral, something for everyone to work with during this lunar cycle. And for the Leo new moon and over the next 2 weeks, we are suggesting pyrite.
Mm-hmm. And I'll pull this up nice and close so you can see our specimens. This is one of my favorite crystals that Corbin's gotten me. It's pyrite in shungite. And so it is pretty cool, pretty fun. I mean, you can see the like striations, is that the right word? Like the different layers of the stone, the way the minerals built up. And it's really fun.
So you're getting some good sparkle over there too.
I know, right?
Yeah. And I just brought like a small little pocket piece of pyrite in a
hold your hand behind it like the
I still need to get a new camera here.
No, really blurry.
I know.
Oh, hey, nice, Ken. Synchronicities. Ken just got a pyrite pyramid. I
Nice.
swore that we had a pyrite pyramid, but I think we've just looked at them a few times and not actually followed through and bought one.
Well, I've really been lusting over like a pyrite skull,
I know,
because I've
right?
seen a lot of those where it kind of disintegrates away a little bit at parts of. Oh,
Yeah,
sure, yeah, we have it on the picture
like
here.
the
Yeah,
one we have there. Yeah.
yeah. I just think that that's so cool. And I remember when we were on vacation last summer, there were a lot of cool pyrite spheres at the place where we went gem mining.
Hmm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's a fun stone, and it very much fits the theme, fits the vibe in more ways than one for this Leo new moon. Um, we found out that it is from the Greek word for fire. I think it's pyro or pyra, something like that.
I think it
Um,
would be pyre if you get your Greek down.
pyre. Nice. Well, I'm not a Greek speaker, nor have I ever studied Greek. Um, so yeah, very much that fire energy fits in with
Mhm.
that Leo themes.
Yeah, it's pyrite, so it's one of those that ends in the ite. So just a reminder that pyrite is not friendly with water. If you're looking to cleanse or clear, or just recharge your pyrite, make sure you keep it away from water. Maybe do some cleansing with smoke or sound or something like that.
Yes, absolutely. And is certainly very shiny and golden, as most people know. And you probably also know it's known as fool's gold. I remember like being really young, and this was a stone that I feel like is in a lot of gift shops. Like you go, would it be like Montana? Not, well, maybe Montana too, but like South Dakota, North Dakota, like driving through the plains. Like I feel like I saw pyrite a lot in like gift shops and stuff, and so it was one that I always loved because the fool's gold is just a funny name.
hmm Yeah, so being kind of golden or metallic, having that kind of brilliant shine to it, we can definitely just very clearly understand how this is associated with like optimism or looking on the brighter side of things, while at the same time, keeping you very grounded and in touch with the earth. Again, this is a material that kind of came from. And so, yeah, just really thinking about the brilliance of the stone itself, and it's just can help us coming forward, especially as we talk about the astrology and the opposition with Pluto. We could all use a little extra optimism in our lives these days.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah, it's definitely needed, and I feel like is a big theme for the moment is how do you keep yourself out of the more lower negative frequencies? How do you keep yourself in that more positive place? And so often it is how do you spin things? How do you shift your perspective? Um,
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what I was thinking.
mhm. Definitely a great stone to work with if you are working with abundance. It's golden, it's shiny, it helps you draw in that abundance. It's also great for protection. Again, kind of feeding into that groundedness works similar to like the hematite or um, black obsidian, but definitely a good one to work with if you're needing either of those sort of situations. This one we have kind of permanently in front of our front door, and so it definitely works together with a few of our other crystals to be that kind of front line of protection.
Yeah, well, and I think beyond the protection and to kind of move into the next topic here of emotional stability or even emotional elevation, it's one of the stones that I really like having at the entryway to my household because it kind of just ushers in like a higher, more positive vibe to folks as they come in. It's something that can kind of help you, leave that behind, and just kind of come into a more stable and grounded place. So I like to use it at the front entrance of my home just because I think that it helps anyone who's visiting.
Oh yeah, great point for sure. And pyrite is a good one to work with if you're working with solar plexus as well. That yellow association, and um, especially with that emotional piece too. I mean, helping you with that kind of power center, that emotional core. So definitely a good one to work with there.
hmm
And as always, we like to give you guys a few alternatives as well for working with if you don't have pyrite. So things you could use would be real gold. if you have a ring. I mean,
Yeah.
my
If you just
gold
have
ring on
real
right
gold hanging
if
around.
you happen to have real gold and not pyrite. But another option would be sunstones. Citrine is a good one. We also were drawn to agate and almost went with agate for the stone of the week, or stone of the moon, I should say. But that's a good one to work with, as well as hematite, obviously for that protection piece. And it's kind of shiny too, a little bit in a different way. I actually wore my hematite bracelet today. Oh, hey,
Yeah, a
Lisa.
lot of these extra options are just things that are associated with like Leo in general. So really good things just to have around. Although agate, I put on there, agate I traditionally associate with the planet Mercury, and later we'll be talking about the Mercury retrograde. It might be resonating with you to be grabbing some agate during this time, just because, yeah, traditionally associated with Mercury.
Good point. Good point. All right. So yeah, that's our stone pick for the week. Let us know if you're working with pyrite or if you're feeling drawn to a different stone. We definitely like to share what crystals we're working with. I know many in the audience have many of them. So let us know what you're working with.
I know most weeks when we like pick a stone and then, start preparing for the show, I always like ask myself, ooh, is this a reason to go buy? Like, oh, we have to buy something to show off on the show. And I feel like we didn't, which is good. Yay, us. But I kind of feel like we should treat ourselves with a pirate sphere skull at some point soon.
Oh my gosh, right? Maybe when we land the move, we can buy a stone to place in our new home.
There you go. There you go.
All right. Any last comments on stone before we toss it on over to you for the astrology? I don't think I have a slide, right?
I'm just saying hi to Lisa. It looks like Lisa's here.
Yeah.
There you
Yes,
go.
I said hi. You were talking though in the middle. All right. Let me pull these down then. And I think it's your turn, Corbin. You want to tell us about the moon?
Sure. Do you want to pull up the
Oh
wheel?
yeah.
Awesome.
There we go.
Cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All righty. Let's get into it. A little bit of an interesting new moon here. Kind of more so has the flavor of a full moon. So we'll get jumping into this though. As we look at our chart here, since the last time that we met, the transits really have continued to move and shift, and we have a lot of planets in a lot of new places and a lot of different energy going on right now. Some of the first things that I want to draw our attention to. So we have the sun and the moon here at the 2nd degree of Leo. And here we are in the height of summer. I mean, for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, Leo is a fixed fire sign, which fixed signs really kind of usher in the true essence of any season. And so this is why I said it's the height of summer. It's where we have our hottest days, lots going on out in the world. Leo is a fire sign, and all of our fire signs are driven by passion and things that excite them. Leo has its own unique individual way of going through things, being a fixed sign. It definitely has its own preference on how it might want to accomplish something. I think of Leo and I think of the sun, though, who is the ruler of the sign of Leo. And one of the qualities about Leo that I think about right away with the sun is how Leos have this natural ability to kind of be a centralizing force, just in the way that the sun functions at the center of our solar system and all the planets, kind of orbit. There we go. That's the word. Orbit or navigate around the sun. Leos have that as well, just kind of like in a personal way, where a lot of folks who are Leos tend to be leaders or folks who can kind of draw in a crowd around them or bring people together. Back to the idea of fire, it's kind of like a bonfire, which at this time of the year, a lot of people like to hang out late at night around a bonfire. And Leo has that kind of same energy of pulling people together. And yeah. And then just these associations with like leadership when we think about like the actual symbol of the lion, I often think that lions are at the top of their food chain, right? They're definitely leaders amongst that part of the animal kingdom. And they live in groups called pride. And, Leo is where we have these associations with courage and self-esteem and, kind of how we stand up. And as my father would say, bring our shoulders back and tuck our chins in, right? It's about how we show up and present ourselves and how we're on stage. So that's the season that we're entering here with Leo season.
Corbin, before you move on, can I share quick, because it's just too funny. It's so on the nose with the Leo energy, because one of the Leos that I know, she has for the month of July been introducing people, networking people on Facebook. She'll just intuitively connect to people, and it just makes me laugh because like during Leo season, this very Leo is doing this very Leo thing, and it just is very in line with this. And I got match made with someone literally just the other day, so very in line with this new moon.
Yeah, absolutely. I that's a wonderful example. Thank you for sharing. So I think one of the biggest, just most clear eye-catching energies and aspects inside of this new moon is we have a very, very clear, stark opposition from the moon and sun at the second degree of Leo, opposite Pluto in Aquarius, which is also at 2 degrees. It is retrograde at this time, but like, woo, to the degree, this is like very smack dab on the money. And so I really do strongly believe that this is kind of our big theme here. And I want to take a bit of time to unpack some of the different things that we can see and that we often see when we have an opposition between the sun and Pluto. So one of the first themes that comes to mind for me when I see this configuration in the sky is the topic of the fall, loss, or transition of a Leo or solar figure, or like a leader. It's kind of like a long way of saying that. I'm really fond of doing cycle work, and inside of that, I'll look back at previous transits to see what happened the last time that we had these, to get a sense of what's going to happen this time around. And well, we've been having planets taking oppositions to Mars or to Pluto, excuse me, already this year. Mars was the first planet just a couple months ago who had that opposition to Pluto. And when I looked back at those dates at the end of April, I thought it was really interesting that this was the time that we saw the passing of Pope Francis, a very solar figure in his own right? A spiritual leader. So a very solar figure. And that opposition from Pluto, we did see the passing. And so, there's an example from just a few months ago where, Pluto can kick off something like this. I did decide to go back, though, since that was a Mars transit. I did go back to last summer in 2024 when the sun was opposite Pluto. And it was really surprising to find out that in the news last July, when this was going on, that was when Joe Biden dropped out of the US presidential election. So again, that's kind of the transitioning away of a solar figure. He was the president. So, definitely a situation there where we're kind of seeing again this example of a leader, someone who's bringing people together, passing or going away or just transitioning roles. Pluto doesn't always have to mean death. Pluto often can, talk about the symbolic death and rebirth of the change that we go through. Just a few days ago, we had another passing, and this time it was Ozzy Osbourne, which is another solar figure for heavy metal. I really don't know what rock and roll music would be and what heavy metal would be without Ozzy Osbourne. He called himself the Prince of Darkness. It's a very Plutonic figure as well as a very solar figure. And when I saw that news, anyways, I'm getting choked up. Sometimes the astrology is just so poignant. and so real. And so anyways, now beyond Ozzy Osbourne, I started writing all of this last week when we were going to have our show last Friday, and I thought it to be really interesting, some of the things that have been going on in the political sphere right now with our current president. There's a little bit of excitement and tumultuousness and some disagreement happening between him and some of his closest followers. I'm not sure how much we really get to talk about, but some of those files ended up not necessarily being released, and it's really there are some reverberations from that, and there definitely are opinions on both sides of the coin here. And so last week when I kind of heard about that going on, I thought to myself, well, it'll be really interesting to see what continues to go on with Mr. Trump over the next week or so. And heck, with this with the opposition of Pluto here to the sun and the moon, this really does go beyond our new moon here and really is in play for the next 2 weeks. And I just think that the public discourse out there is really shifting. I definitely think that will be a crescendoing energy. I don't think the story is over there by any means whatsoever. And I think that whether you're personally or individually feeling differently about that solar figure, whether you are or not, somebody else definitely is. And so I like to draw attention to that. I'll take this now out of the mundane level, and I'll just kind of speak to a personal level. This could just be any of us as regular old human beings living our lives. Could be someone that you looked up to, somebody that you identified with, somebody that, I don't know, was like a role model or something like that. And this could speak to a time where that person's falling out of your graces. That person isn't necessarily who you thought that they were. The truth that is being revealed causes you to reflect and rethink what is the significance of that relationship, and who would I be without that relationship? Perhaps am I better with or better without? And so there's a lot of ways that this kind of a bigger, very public thing that's going on right now, which is very Pluto Sun, that can distill down, and it will distill down to all of us personally. All right, so that's the first one. I've worked in politics a bit in my life. It's a lot of fun, but it is kind of a previous world for me that I don't hang out in a lot anymore. Forgive me if I don't have all the details here. I'm a happier person outside of the political realm, but I know that it is still part of our reality. So anyways, very long-winded for this first theme here to say it's just a reminder that the sun sets. Every day the sun sets. People come, people go, the leaders that we had, the people who are in charge, the tenets that drive you as a person, these things change. And it's a big shift in that right now. All right.
Sorry to interrupt. I was just thinking about you, Emma. I was like,
Emma.
I need to message Emma, and you managed to make it. So good to see you. All the love to you.
Hello. And it's definitely more the new moon over there than it is here. So happy new moon, Emma. Our second topic for big moon, sun, opposite Pluto themes, Jake and I are going to hit this one together. We've been having a lot of internal conversations at home about this shift in, I'll say, epistemology, or just how we get information or how we believe what we believe. And there's been, I've been seeing, and I think Jake's kind of heard it more in sessions, this shift from external and from guides more to an internal and higher self. So Jake, I'll let you kind of riff about that a bit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a pattern that I've been noticing. And obviously I'm very much in the higher self lane. I got my start in quantum healing hypnosis technique, which is Dolores Cannon's technique. For those who don't know, this dealt with the subconscious part of us. She spoke with this part of us that was deep down and knew all the answers to all of our questions, knew about all of our existences. And higher self is kind of a little more of a newer term that has been worked in. So subconscious, higher self, super conscious. Anyway, I'm in that lane, but what I've noticed and what I've been seeing, not only in sessions, but in like talks with other people as well as other people in the community like Solrita, which many of you know. We've been talking about this as well, and more on that in a moment. But I've realized there's this shift that seems to be happening from more of an emphasis on spirit guides and these external sources of guidance and wisdom, and the switch to more focus on higher self or parallel selves, future self, which is all very in line with my work. But I just think it's very interesting how this seems to be happening more and more. I even had a session recently where the client was told by their higher self that they chose to incarnate without any spirit guides. They chose to come here without any of that support and that backup support. And getting some weird chills with that one. But it's definitely this very different feel when you tap into your higher self. And it is more of a familiarity. It's more of it's a part of you rather than this external. And certainly there are ideas out there about spirit guides being aspects of self. And, Solrita and I were talking about this, and she's seen more and more in sessions where clients' higher selves are coming through, or other versions, other parallel lifetimes are coming through rather than guides. And so I really thought it was interesting that we're both seeing this kind of trend. And it'll be fascinating to see how this unfolds. So the kind of last note that I'll say on that is that Solrita and I actually recorded this week a new session for you guys. So we recorded another full session to publish, and we'll be premiering that next week. I'm thinking that it'll probably be Wednesday night, but I haven't committed to that yet. And really excited to share that with you guys. We dove deep into the higher self connection and this topic of connecting to higher versions of self. We talked about a lot to do with that and how that affects us, how that shifts our reality, our being, how it affects us on a physical as well as spiritual level. So lots of cool information. I have not gone back and reviewed it yet, but there was a lot there. So definitely this shift from external to internal has been a big thing that I've seen in sessions, and I've also felt it personally as well. Less of a desire to go externally for validation, for answers, whatever it might be, and this real draw to go inward and to get quiet and find my own knowing.
Yep. And while this is very much a Pluto sun moon theme, I will just mention, from Aquarius to Aries, we have a sextile here from Pluto to Saturn and Neptune, and then we have another sextile here to Uranus and Gemini, and another sextile, and all of these outer planets are really configured to each other in harmonious aspects here. And as we talk about that higher self piece, I really think that that's very indicative of the Uranus and Gemini sort of energy. Uranus, the great awakener, our higher mind, that kind of thing. And so there's a lot inside of the astrology that I think backs up everything that Jake was saying here. So I just wanted to kind of point to that configuration.
But before we move on too quickly, Emma did have a question around the fairies. Anyone been talking with the fairies recently? They were about last night for me. I don't know if you're meaning in sessions or just kind of generally us, but I certainly have. I've had a few interactions in and around with the fairies for sure. I feel like there's definitely been ebbs and flows in their presence, and I think the more that I get out in nature, the more that I feel them. But I feel like I have an easier time seeing them like inside. I don't know if it has to do with just like the distraction of outside, but
I just love that with everything that we're talking about right now. What I had written down, Jake, for this section was our multidimensional selves are shifting in more and more, and other aspects of our souls are coming online at this time. And so I think, Emma, back to just, communing with the fairies, that will become more and more of a commonplace thing for many of us, I feel like. This is a little bit personal and a little astrology, but yeah.
And yeah, I mean, in general, it seems like the veil is thinning, and more, I mean, I've seen this in sessions too, the level of awareness that folks have, and their abilities to be conscious and participatory in altered states and in different layers, right, is definitely increasing. And I think it's definitely speaking to the changes that are happening in us, and the evolution that we're going through, as well as the planet, right? I mean, this is an internal and external. This is both working together, working in sync, working.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh my
Some of the
God.
other themes that I have written here as we're
Sorry, Corbin,
related.
before you go on, we just have great people in the audience, and Lisa's talking about the trees and the plants. And she said, you can hear them now. And I just have to share, Lisa, oh my gosh, we went berry picking this weekend, and I had just the most vivid telepathic communication with one of the blueberry bushes. As I was picking, we were like in the back corner of the farm, and the bushes were clearly less picked than the ones at the close side. And I was like just going at it, like so many berries, and I just got the clearest like gratitude and the message of like, thank you for lightening my load from the blueberry bush. And it was so beautiful. I like started laughing. It was just great. Sorry, I had to share that.
No, it was great. I mean, it's kind of the highlight of the last week.
It was.
Yeah, really, really a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay, next topic here, though, staying on Pluto opposite the sun and the moon. Like I said at the top, this new moon has a little bit of a flavor of a full moon. And so my next topic here is ego war or shadow war. I definitely think that this is a moment for all of us to become a little bit more aware of our shadow aspects of self, to take a little bit of time and to connect with that, go through the process of kind of, trudging that up and excavating what's going on there. Pluto, again, associated with the underworld, really is going to be a harbinger of, that sort of information. This can be a period where there's a lot of big revelations and ahas, as there is a reckoning between the heart, Leo, and the mind, Aquarius. And so, I that's often more of a theme inside of a full moon. But I think with the opposition here to Pluto, seeing our shadows, doing shadow work, facing the fears, talking about that with Mercury pulled into here, I think is really, really top of mind for a lot of folks. And the second piece of this that I'll mention is other people are the triggers. There's a couple different ways that we can look at any sort of chart to understand what's going on here. One of my favorite techniques is called derived houses, where we would take the sun and the moon, we would bring that to the ascendant here, we'd reorient the chart to get an understanding of what's going on. And in that situation, if we had the sun and the moon in the first house, we would end up having Pluto in the seventh house. And so that's where I say that other people are the triggers. There will be those interactions that we have with other people throughout this timeline that will be those things that kind of drudge up that shadow, or that, show aspects of self that we maybe aren't necessarily always paying attention to, or trying to bury, or, trying to skirt away from. Pluto, though, has the ability of taking things that are very small and making them very, very big, taking a little reaction and making it very, very big. And I just also think that with this concept of Leo, self, and Aquarius, a group of other people, that really will be finding ourselves having interactions with others. And that really will be that trigger that will force us to see our shadows. So that would be all of the fun stuff for the moon and Pluto. It's a really big energy here. We'll all be experiencing it both on a kind of a larger collective level, as I mentioned at the beginning, with some of the political things, but then also personal. And I'll share my personal thing right now. over the last week or so, I've had my own awareness and falling out with somebody that I used to like respect a lot. This was a person who I look up to as a leader. And just through, a handful of different interactions and getting a peek or two behind the curtain, really realizing that I've given this person a lot of graces that maybe weren't, I don't think all of them were earned, but I've just had a few experiences that have really follow a solar figure in my life. So I'm really personally going through that myself here. There's a couple other things that are going on inside of this moon, though. Not all the energy is tough. We do, like I mentioned, sextiles and trines from all the fire and air signs. So some nice supportive stuff here. One of the big things that just changed since we met last is we did have Saturn turn retrograde. So both Saturn and Neptune are now retrograde at the beginning degrees of Aries. Saturn will be retrograde from July 12th until November 27th, and it'll go from here at 1 degrees Aries all the way back to 25 Pisces. So if anything at the end of Pisces or the beginning of Aries, heads up. This is definitely a time about checking in on how are you structuring your time, energy, and resources and commitments as we're entering this new phase and new era of life. Saturn really is about our daily commitments and what little steps we take each day to make the future that we want manifest and real. And so there is something to say during this retrograde time. Do look back at, these first 2 months of Saturn in Aries. How has that been going for you? Have you been spending your time, energy, and resources in the way that you've been wanting to? Saturn at times can cause delays or ask us to wait and be patient until the timing is more proper. There might be something that you're working out inside of this retrograde that's helping with the timing or the energy or the resources that are needed to step into the new phase, new era, new chapter. So that's a quick thing that I would be thinking about. But overall, any sort of delay or setback at this time is divinely timed. It is something that's going to help you get on the more long-term path, because what Saturn is setting us up for is permanence. Aries very much has the energy of quick, now, fast, I want, which at times is antithetical to Saturn's nature. And so I think this slowdown is very well placed. I think it will allow a lot of us to start in 2026 on the right foot. There's been a few things in new beginnings that we all kind of have to adjust to and get used to. This is that moment to kind of reset on some of those. And then the other big thing that I want to spend a little bit of time talking about here, of course, is this Mercury retrograde that we have going on right now. The Mercury retrograde started last week on July 18th. This will go until August 11th. And we can animate our chart here a little bit. And what day are we having our Cazimi here? Sure. So at the end of the month, it looks like we're going to have our Cazimi here. Are they coming together at 8 or 9?
Making me dizzy.
Yeah, sorry. Anyways, let's see. Mercury retrograde in Leo, a little bit of a rewriting and realigning our self-identity in relation to a larger group coherence. A little bit about reviewing the story or the narrative of how we present ourselves to others. Who are we projecting? What are we saying with our words? Are those the words that we want to be using to projecting who we are? I really think about my personal situation and realize that in the future, I'll be talking with this person in a much different kind of way and presenting myself in a different kind of way and working on keeping myself elevated and maybe not, go in another direction. This retrograde, though, can also really bring up topics of our relationships with our passions and our joy. Leo, once again, being related to that inner child. What is that spark of excitement or creation? And so, our hobbies, our passions, the things that light us up, a shift and a change in our attitude. Again, maybe it's your old favorite thing that you're falling out of. Maybe that's the solar figure that's going away. Mercury is really going to be asking us to think about, how are we projecting the identity of self in so many different aspects of our lives. Alrighty, I know that we got a little long-winded, so I'm trying to wrap up a little bit here. Jake, I had mentioned how this new moon is kind of playing out for me, how I've seen the fall of a leader in my life. And to I guess be clear with everyone, I have the Leo new moon is in my 8th house. And so other people's opinions, other people's esteem, how we partner with other people in deep kind of ways, that's where it's really living for me. Jake, this is playing in your 5th house and your 11th house. Do you have anything top of mind as to what you're going through with this new moon?
Yeah, well, definitely, peek behind the curtain. Corbin and I talk about astrology and the ways that it plays out. Because sometimes I have the experiences, but I don't always have the words to, or like the where to put it with the planets and stuff like that. So part of my journey over, I guess, the last kind of 2 weeks or so, and I've had glimpses of this, but it's really come to a head and come to a new place recently with these energies. But I've been kind of rethinking about how I show up, especially in YouTube and in the content that I create. In the, because this is certainly the more hobby side of my career. It is building, absolutely, but it's not necessarily like my full-time gig. I'm a hypnotherapist, not a content creator. And so, but essentially this shift has been in me feeling drained, me feeling unsure, me feeling like I have to slave away and play the game. And I've come to a realization that I need to return to my authenticity, and not that I've been fake necessarily, but it's sometimes been looking to other people for what I should be producing or what I should be putting out there. So there's been a refocus on what is authentically me, and more than that, what is fun, what do I enjoy making. And so those of you who follow me on socials, or if you've seen my shorts here, I've been doing more of my little meditation moments, giving people those mindfulness moments, really been refocusing on the hypnotism side of things, because I love cards and I love pulling cards, but it's not what I offer. It's not what I do. So yeah, that is a long-winded way of saying
Super
that.
beautiful, Jake. I just love it. Aquarius being your 5th house, creative expression, hobbies. I mean, you said it all right there. And then the 11th house is often seen as friends, networks, social groups. In this case, your digital audience. So yeah, it's all really there. And, I think what you brought up, which I didn't, which is really important here, is that, Mercury has already gone through some of these degrees of Leo, right? And so it's during that pre-shadow phase where you were really starting to feel this for the first time around, right? As Mercury was first going through these beginning degrees of Leo, that's where all of this started coming up. And so, yeah, it's really cool and really interesting. And I appreciate you sharing. I think it's great. There's so many different ways in which we experience this, and we all do. And so the more that we can kind of talk about that, the more clear it becomes in our lives. My personal experience, I wrote this whole ding dang darn thing and didn't really think about it like until the last 24 hours. But lo and behold, it's been festering and building for me for a week and a half. So yeah. Really, really interesting. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, well, and thank you for sharing too. We had a lot of resonant feelings in the chat. Ken said he was going through, or he just went through the same thing as you. And Lisa and Emma cheering you on and giving support in that. I think a lot of us have gone through probably multiple moments of that in our lives as we've awakened, as we've started to understand our own knowings and listen to our intuition, listen to our own voices. And so definitely poignant stuff. So
yeah. Thank you. This was a lot of fun.
yeah, absolutely. All right. Corbin, do you think we should save the little Leo new moon thing, or should we just go on with it?
Yeah, we really did go long here. Let's just be like really, really brief.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's be really, really brief.
All right. So I'll toss this up on the screen. Y'all can come back to this and review this. It's really not a complicated concept, though, and I feel like y'all are probably familiar with things like this.
We did want to give credit quickly to Britton LaRue, Living Astrology. It's a beautiful, beautiful coffee table book. Like, this is one that I like leave out because it's really fun. It's great for introductory. It's great for beginners. Like I said, coffee table. Just wonderful meditations, exercises, ideas to engage with all the different lunar cycles. Yeah, just one of my favorite like fun astrology books that isn't like incredibly technical. And so I just wanted to mention that's kind of where we got the idea and the inspiration for this topic of disrupting limiting self-images.
Hello, Jody. Welcome to the chat. Good to see you.
Jody.
Hope you're doing well and enjoying the rain. Did you guys get rain up there too? I would imagine so. All right. So essentially our kind of homework for you guys is we like to give you something to take away with you and to work into your life to make this real and tangible. It's this idea of disrupting limiting self-images. And I called it a challenge because I feel like Leos like a challenge. I don't know. The Leos that I know like to, prove themselves or to be, top of the podium. So here's the challenge for you guys. As it sounds, it's about disrupting those things. So step one would be pick what limiting self-image might be coming up for you. So for example, advice seeking. Maybe you see yourself as someone who goes externally for advice. I mean, we've been talking about this a lot, right? And this was one that I really resonated with, of setting intentions around letting this go. So things that I might do would be to write a description without asking Corbin's opinion about it, or to post a short without asking ChatGPT to like review my SEO content, things like that, where I'm not going externally. I'm going within.
Yeah, I mean, definitely with the astrology right now and the Mercury retrograde inside of Leo, though, like this is it, like with a bow on top. If you traditionally see yourself as like the host with the most, right? Just do nothing for once and see how that goes. And how do you feel about that? Like this isn't rocket science here. It's just about making a little change in your life and seeing how that goes for you. And it just really aligns with this Mercury retrograde, where we're thinking about, who am I? What is my identity? How am I being seen?
Absolutely. And as always with these sorts of things, if you write something down or you do a little voice note, voice memo, those sorts of things anchor it into the physical. It makes it a little more real, makes it a little more tangible to you. And definitely in the theme of the Leo new moon, keep it fun, be curious, and be compassionate with yourself. This isn't about, berating yourself for going externally for validation or for being a good host. It's just about recognizing where that behavior, that pattern might be limiting you, and choosing something different and seeing how that feels.
Yep. I feel like that's good for the brief version.
Yeah. Definitely recommend that book, though. It really is really fun. We've taken some time to like read through it together, especially when we're prepping these moons, because it has a lot of kind of general stuff around the signs. And so, yeah, good stuff.
We like it so much because she's a Pisces, Jake. That's part of it.
That is part of it, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we definitely had a lot to share today and loved chatting with you guys as always in the chat. So always a joy when you come, when you share, when you engage. It makes it a lot more fun and feels like we're all hanging around a campfire, right? All right. Yeah, you like that?
Yeah. Good memory. Good job. That was great.
Thank you. All right, guys. So at this point, I'm going to share, guide you through the Leo New Moon meditation activation that I have devised for the energies of this moon. Should be about 10-15 minutes, shouldn't be too long. If you are in a position where you can close your eyes and relax into the moment, great. If not, feel free to come back to this. I'll make sure the timestamps are below so you can rejoin here at the moment. So I will let Corbin go, and I will pull down my slides here so you guys can see me. Absolutely, Emma. Enjoy the replay and happy new moon to everyone. All right. So as you settle in, making yourself comfortable, feel free to just sit in a nice relaxed position, or if you'd like to lie down, that is all right as well. Just making yourself comfortable. Be here for just a moment. And as you settle in, just taking a few deep breaths. Starting to focus on that in and that out. Feeling that breath as it fills your belly, fills up your chest, and fills up your heart space. Feeling the air around your heart. And feeling your body relax as you settle into this moment and as you focus on that breath. Feeling that relaxation starting to move through your body. Feeling your forehead relaxing. These little muscles around your eyes. Feeling your jaw loosen and soften. Feeling that relaxation as it flows down your neck, into your shoulders, softening, just letting any tensions go. Feeling that relaxation as it moves down into your arms, all the way into your hands and out your fingers. Feeling your arms growing heavy as you relax. And that relaxation flowing down your chest and your back. Feeling all those muscles in your core. Everything soften and relax. That's good. That relaxation moving down your hips into your legs. Down and down until it flows into your feet. Just letting any tension go, any tightness release. Feeling yourself settle into this moment. Now imagining yourself cocooned in a shimmering, glowing white light. Seeing that white light glowing all around you. It may be a shape, maybe an orb or a bubble. Maybe it's a pyramid of light around you. Just really focusing on that white light and seeing it surrounding you on all sides, underneath you, surrounding you completely. And this white light is your protection. It will stay around you while we do this short meditation today. Just feel that wonderful feeling of love and protection coming from the white light. That's good. Now, just imagine that You're walking down a long, long corridor, a very long passageway that stretches out in front of you. And at the end, you can just barely see a door. This door is golden, and it shimmers as if from a light from within. So make your way down this passageway, and as you do, think about your life. Think about who you are and the way that you show up. Think about especially the way that you bring your creativity and joy into the world. How do you shine your light? Just noticing what comes up as you think about this. Just letting that information flow to you. And as you think about who you are and how you show up, do you feel a call to shift? Are you feeling a call to step into an upgraded version of yourself with this new moon? Maybe you feel the call to work more from your heart, or maybe to show up with more joy and energy. Do you feel like you're shining your light authentically, bravely? Just noticing your answers without judgment. And as you keep walking down this corridor, thinking about the ways you've maybe stifled your light, how you've maybe played small for someone else, or perhaps you shut down your creativity or stopped listening to your heart. Just noticing what comes up. Continuing on closer and closer, and you're now approaching that glowing golden door. You're approaching the end of this hall, and as you look at that golden door, you know there's a very special room on the other side. Inside this special room, there are two mirrors. Two mirrors that will help you to connect to your past as well as to your future. To understand who you were and who you will be, and to help you to align now for your best and highest good. That first mirror will show you a younger you. Maybe you as a child, maybe another age. This will be the version of you that was open, optimistic, joyful. The younger you that let their creativity flow and let their light shine. This could even be a past life version of you, if it's appropriate. And the second mirror will show you the future. Maybe a week, maybe a year, whatever time is most appropriate for you to see. This future you has reclaimed that inner child energy, that past life energy. This is you shining your light in this new era of you, and you're loving it. So as you're ready, step up to that door, open that golden door, and step into that special room. And as you step through, you notice that the space is glowing white. It's very minimal and soft. It's calming and relaxing here. You feel at peace. There's a soft golden glow in the space as well, and you notice ahead of you on the wall 2 large round mirrors hanging on either side. And as you look at these 2 mirrors, the one on the left-hand side, will show you the past. The one on the right, the future. So step up to that left-hand mirror. Notice the colors swirling in the glass. And as you stand in front of this mirror, this mirror will show you that younger you. Maybe when you were a child, whatever is most appropriate. And this younger you, they want to remind you of something. They want you to remember something from this stage of life. A way of being, an attitude, an energy that you had, and that you're being called to reclaim. So looking at the mirror, the colors begin to clear, fade away, and the image of the younger you comes into focus. Notice what they look like. What expression is on their face? What are they doing? What is it that they want you to remember? What are they reminding you of? Just let that information flow to you. Maybe a word, maybe a feeling. Just take a moment and let that flow to you. So what is it that they want you to reclaim? What aspect of your inner child wants to be expressed again? You know that it's time. You can feel it. And this younger you is reminding you through time what it is that you most need now. So focus on the now. Focus on now and what it is that you can do to bring this new you to life. Is it a new routine or practice? Is it a new attitude or mindset that you'll be practicing? Take time to allow that information to flow. How will now be different as you shine your light in this new way? All right. Coming back to the center of the room, and when you're ready, step up to that right hand mirror. Walking up to that second mirror, and you know that this mirror will show you the future. It will show you the future you that's already shifted, that's in this new era. And in a moment, you'll be shown that future you that has reclaimed whatever it is that you're being called to. Maybe it's more open, more joyful, more creative. So see those colors fading and the image coming into clear view. Notice your future you. What do they look like? What's different about you now? What do you notice? Just take a moment here to notice how that future you carries themselves. How do they act? How do they treat others? Just allow that information to flow to you. Does this future you have a message that they'd like you to know? Is there anything that they would like to share with you now? All right. Feel that positive energy from that future you. Tap into that wonderful feeling of courageously shining your light. Feel that energy of these other versions of you. Feeling that sense of clarity and understanding, that encouragement through the quantum. These other yous are encouraging you and they're ready for you to step into this new reclaimed version. Bringing that heart-centered, that childlike energy back into your life. That's good. Now, bringing that positive energy, bringing that feeling back with you as you drift back and back and back to the present. Coming back out of that room, back through that golden door, back down the passage. Drifting back now to the present, feeling yourself returning back to your body as I count from 1 to 5. Getting ready now. 1 and 2, wiggling your fingers and toes, getting your body moving again. 3 and 4, breath returning to normal. And 1, opening your eyes when you're ready, back here in the present, feeling wonderful and energized by these quantum versions of you. Thank you all. Thank you all. And as Corbin said, thank you all for spending time with us, for joining us for the show. It really is such a joy. I had a lot of fun with you, Corbin, as well as with the audience and the chat. Absolutely, Ken. If you'd like, share in the comments, share in the chat what came up for you or what the past or future versions of you wanted you to know. It's always interesting when we get to tap into those other aspects of us, and felt really inspired with this energy to give you guys that opportunity. So let me know how it went. Awesome.
You know, I got to see this version of me. I don't know if I was like 7 or 8 or something like that, but there was a period of time where I had both of my front teeth out, like I'd lost both of them, and all I did was smile with, you know, my 2 missing teeth. But that little kiddo, so joyful, so effulgent, to use our word. Thank you, Lisa. And yeah, just the joy that emanated from that image is such a solar quality, right? You know, it's the light of source. That's what Leo and the sun bring us. And so, yeah, thank you, Jake.
Absolutely. All right, let me pull out my notes again. Um,
That's about it, I
I think
think.
so. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You got a show coming up in
I
just a couple
do.
days.
Yes, I will pull that back up. For those of you joining us here at the end, if you missed it at the beginning, live on Friday with my friend Cynthia, we're going to be talking all about relationships and how tapping into the past or the future can help you in making your relationships better, finding new love, finding new relationships, understanding your friendships, your family relationships more. There's a lot to get into, and Cynthia has a lot to share, and so do I. So it's going to be a really fun show, and we're excited to share that with you guys. And
I've really loved all the conversations with your hypnotist friends. And so I'm really looking forward to this one. And like, what a super, big topic for everyone.
oh my God, yeah. I mean, as we've been prepping for this show, Cynthia and I were chatting about just the challenges that people of all ages face in the dating world right now, and trying to find relationships. And I think it's been a huge shift for a lot of people in the last couple of years, and so even more people are like looking for that and having a real hard time with it, a real tough time. I mean, there's lots of challenges, from the dating apps to miscommunication to overwhelm of options. I mean, there's lots to get into. So felt like it was a very poignant moment, and especially with the Leo themes. I mean, thinking about the ways that you can affect this, because oftentimes we look at others and try to blame others, but it really starts with you, and that's kind of where we're coming from. So it's going to be a fun show. And check out my website, of course, if you want to know more about my sessions, and head on over to the bookings page if you want to either sign up for a free consultation. We can certainly chat through your goals or questions around my services, around what a session looks like or what would be best for you. And if you are, trying to step into your light more or to shine more authentically, certainly something I can help with in a variety of ways, whether that be tapping into your higher self, or helping you to get a sense of what that future version of you looks like, feels like, help you tap into that energy, anchor it back into your present, and really help you like quantum jump to that state. So yeah, if you're feeling these Leo vibes, hit me up. I definitely would love to help you in that process for sure. All right, I will pull that down. Any last words before we go, Corbin?
Like, share, subscribe for the Leo new moon.
Absolutely. And let us know in the comments below what's been coming up for you. If anything we said resonated, if you're going through similar, or if you're going through different, let us know. All right. Otherwise, see you guys on Friday, and we'll see you, Corbin, in a couple weeks for the next show. All right. Bye, y'all.